Hey guys,
We're on a hammock.
we are in a hammock.
All the
It's
time.
really hard actually. We're just
Alexus
trying to get
has a
comfy right now.
Fat ass. I'm just like every episode. I'm just chilling. So, you know me. I'm just gonna be laying back. We're recording. I don't know what you're saying. Oh, that's me going off at my mum this time.
Yeah, how about that?
Love you, mum. Yeah, I don't think. Oh, fuck me. She's about to whip a slipper.
Hey everyone.
Hi, we're in a hammock this time around.
We are. Welcome back to Fuck the Boxes. This is episode 3.
We're still working out our little bums in this hammock. It's meant to be a double hammock.
Yeah, we
Double-person
got it for
hammock.
Christmas.
This ain't a double. Alexis has a fat ass. This is not made. This is made for Alexis's ass, not two asses.
Yeah, either 2 Emmas or 1 me.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, we're making it work. And it's actually a really nice day.
Yeah.
So we're sitting at the front of our cabin.
That we just
decided.
moved into. We were not meant to move in this early.
No, the plan was March because there's no water connected, there's no proper electricity connected. So the plan was to get, the plumber out, sort all of our shit out first and then move in. But then we're like, oh, hey, let's just start moving our shit in now. And now we're sleeping in there.
Yeah, we slept in there over New Year's because we wanted to really, bring in that this is what we want and this is what we desire. And so we started doing that. We stayed over on New Year's. And then we just started moving in everything.
Yeah, we're still recovering from being sick. Emma's been sick for a while with a cough.
Too fucking long.
But then
All this podcast knows is my sick voice. They don't even know my real voice.
yeah, she sounds some other way, but this is now my sick voice too. So yeah, I'm going to try not to be coughing.
I'm such a chiller in this podcast.
Every time she's always leaning back on the bed or wherever we are. And I'm not a chill. I don't like to lean back. It's just
she's serious.
I'm like, all right, straight back. Let's get into it. And I always have to kind of turn my neck to look at her.
Yeah, I'm just out here chilling. That's what I do. We're gonna film a podcast. I'm gonna relax, sit back. Get into it.
Yeah,
We're very similar, but we're very different.
Yeah, so it's nice.
But yeah, we're sick as dogs. We're out on a hammock. And we're going to be getting into it.
Yeah,
FTB, baby.
FTB.
Fuck the boxes. Yeah, so we've obviously have 2 episodes out on Fuck the Boxes. If you have not heard, go listen. Last one was pretty vulnerable. Me and Alexus has been talking about how we're feeling about it, where we're kind of at with it.
Yeah, well, we also just had 2 weeks of not uploading because we had Christmas and then we were planning to upload the week after Christmas, but we were just too sick.
Well, if we're a bit honest, we were actually planning to upload both weeks. Both weeks we were sick.
Yeah.
Christmas, and both weeks we actually attempted to record a podcast. Wow, this fucking thing is wiggly. Yeah, if we're being honest, that we actually tried to record for the Christmas episode, and we tried to record for the New Year's episode.
We actually recorded a full episode for the
Yes.
New Year's one.
Yeah, we have a full episode. But I guess it's from my end. We were sick, and that is, that's valid.
Yeah, and because we were sick, it was low quality. We weren't fully ourselves. So it is hard to step into trying to record and film when
You're not feeling the best.
Yeah.
And your head, because we had COVID the second week. And COVID messes with your fucking head. You're just clouded up in there. And so I wasn't happy with how it came out with. And the thing is with me, if I'm not happy with something, it sends me into that I can't put that out, which is, it's kind of a thing I need to work on. I need things to be perfect in my mind before I put shit out there. And I'm working on letting that go. Really?
Yeah, it's a really big thing because for me, I guess I'm more of a person who's it's, everything's okay. We'll have fun with it. That's the main thing. As long as we're enjoying ourselves and, we're happy. That's what my main goal is. But for Em, it's more no, it has to be perfect. It has to be set a certain way or come out a certain way, and it actually stresses her out a lot.
Yeah, I am a bit of a stress head, which is something I'm starting to now like accept that's because I kind of was like, no, I'm a chiller. Like I come out as if I'm just like cool, calm, and collected, and then you get to know me, and I'm actually like just full of anxiety, and I'm a mess, and I'm stressed out, and everything I do needs to be in a certain way, and like I'm just constantly trying to please, and you know what I mean, and I'm just. But then I'll just kick back and everyone thinks I'm just this cool human being, you know, me. No, I'm joking. That was cringy.
Yeah.
But we also noticed, again, this podcast, we're 2 episodes deep, and I've already, like, it's already exposed things. I'm like, stop showing me who I am.
Yeah. You're really struggling with opening up to the whole world. Whoever wants to listen.
Yeah. Well, I struggle to open up in general. So, doing this podcast, especially in relationships, I struggle to be vulnerable and I struggle to open up. And it's something I am working on, and I have improved in that area in the last few years, but I still really struggle. And so, imagine like trying to be vulnerable to everyone with your partner in front of everyone. You know what I mean? Like that's probably what I struggle most in my vulnerabilities in my relationship, and I'm trying to do that in front of the whole world. I say the whole world because it has the potential to reach the whole world. So you motherfuckers are the world.
Whoever wants to listen can listen. So technically the whole world.
Yeah, and so it's been really hard, and the weird thing about it is that it's been received so well, which has made it for some reason harder in my mind, because I'm like, if everyone just hated, I'm like, yo, fuck y'all, you know?
Well, that's how you're used to going about your life, because I feel like from what I've heard and seen, a lot of people doubt you. So in a way that, because you're so used to people doubting you and telling you you're not going to, follow through, or you're not going to do this, your brain's response is to just be like, no, fuck you, I'm going to do better. But now no one's saying that.
No, literally not. Someone slide in the DMs and being a hater. Like, motivate my ass. No, I'm joking.
It's really funny because for me, like, I don't respond well to that. I'm like, be nice to me, be gentle with me.
And I'm like, be fucking rough, dude. Put me in my place. I'm always like, put me in my place. Like, if you don't agree with something, put me in my place. Don't stop being nice. So that's probably something I should unpack.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We'll get to that.
There's so much I need to unpack. And yeah. I feel like, I don't know.
What are you going to say?
Hi, it's me. The problem is me. That's what I feel like. Shout out to Taylor Swift. But yeah, I've noticed throughout this podcast, and actually if I just like strip away the podcast and if I'm talking to you, just you, it's like I do struggle, and you're aware of it in a way because you see how much I really...
In a way, in all the ways, I'm aware.
I cannot, it's like I hit a wall. Like I'm vulnerable, and then I hit a wall.
Yeah, as soon as when Em's not feeling good, it's like there's a huge wall, and yeah, I mean, I'm scared of heights. I would try and climb that. But it's...
Baby, it just keeps going.
Yeah,
we don't know where the top is.
The strongest, tallest wall you could ever come across, and it's really hard.
Yeah, and I see how hard it is because I see you trying to you're like, hello, let me in. And I'm like, no, I don't do that.
Yeah, so you're struggling a bit with the podcast because everyone knows your shit and it stinks.
Yeah.
Not really, it doesn't now, but it used to.
No, it could be, it's right. Like, being vulnerable it's really hard. Now, the thing is also, I'm struggling, but where are you at it?
I feel really good. I don't know, I do really well with opening up. Sometimes I struggle a little bit, and that's only in a sense of, I don't know, things that previously, if it's to do with our relationship and who you are as my partner, like previously with other partners, I've had issues where I couldn't bring things up, or if I did bring things up, it was an issue, or I was kind of made to feel like I was the problem. So that in circumstances like that, where I have previous experiences of not being in a safe space, I tend to shut down a little bit, just like that past experience comes in. But most of the time, I'm really good. I love to talk about how I feel. Any chance I get, actually, I'll talk about how I feel, as long as you're in the space for it. And I prefer, for me, if I'm not feeling good, my instinct isn't to be, sometimes it's to be by myself, but usually it's, okay, like I want my loved one near, and I want to feel like I want to be held, and I want to feel safe, and I want to know, I want the reassurance that they love me, that they care for me. Like, I really love reassurance, so that's actually what I ask for.
Yeah. I find when I've noticed that you are very open to being vulnerable, and you definitely do ask for what you need. I find, and it's not those things that I don't want, because I do want those things. It's just like opening up and being able to say, hey, I really need this at the moment. I struggle with. That's where I come in. But it's not that I don't want those things.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't actually know where my openness comes from. Yeah, I've got no clue. We're still figuring this out, but this is just our experiences with it right now.
Yeah, well, I've noticed with me is that I can be vulnerable. I can be so vulnerable when I'm not feeling the emotion. Soon as an emotion comes in and I have to be vulnerable whilst I'm in that emotion, ain't no way. I can't seem to just flip over onto it. But once that emotion's gone, I can come back and I can talk to you about it. I can say how I was feeling this. You mean like maybe next time try this, or I'm more than like willing to talk about the whole thing and about like why it came up, how it came up. You know what I mean? Like, but
sometimes.
when you think?
Not always, because a lot of the time you don't bring up. It's, I have to dig for it. You don't like to talk about it. So a lot of things go pass by. A lot of things pass by.
Yeah, I probably won't just bring it up.
No, you don't.
Because I feel like for some reason, and I know it's not it, because it's not how I look at anyone else in the world, but I feel like that I'm seeking like validation or like attention, or
what's wrong with that?
Nothing. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't like, for another person, I'd like bring it up, like talk to me, but I don't know.
Well, for me, in my head, like if you're seeking something, it's because you need it. Usually, like if you need validation or you need reassurance or some attention, it's probably because like what younger you is calling out for that. So to me, I'm like, I'm not going to deprive myself of that. And obviously I'm going to do it in a healthier way, the healthiest way I can. Like validation, for example, a huge one was for me, I needed validation, and I'd use that by dating and, going on dating apps and getting validation from strangers, but that wasn't filling my cup up. That wasn't giving me anything. So I kind of flipped that, and I stopped getting validation from others, and I was giving it to myself. So I feel like it's okay to need things and want things, but I mean, just do yourself some justice and give it to yourself in the best way possible.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Because it's obviously coming from somewhere, like maybe your childhood or something.
Yeah, it's definitely coming from somewhere. Again, like we've only been in a relationship for not that long. Oh my god, what date is it?
The 3rd.
No, is it the 3rd?
Today, yeah.
That was our first anniversary, and then we turned it to 6.
Yeah.
So 3 more days.
Because it was your mum's birthday, wasn't it?
Oh, okay, that was the first anniversary. Date was
Anyways,
the first.
We changed it a couple times just 'cause
it's the 6th now. That's when we started dating. We haven't been in it long, and again, you've become like my mirror, where you really show me what I need to work on. And so, like, ever since meeting you, like, I was proud of you. I was working on myself. Obviously, I really was trying to become a better person and break a lot of cycles in my family. But when you have come into my life, you've really shown, like, become my mirror to show me where I need to work on. And then we started a podcast kind of surrounding those type of topics.
How bizarre, by the way.
So I feel like I've just had like a spike in my life where I'm like being like extremely vulnerable and put myself in uncomfortable situations, and I'm really like, because of that spike, I'm like having a big down, like, oh, like this is hard. You know what I mean? Like seeing all these things about myself and feeling all these emotions, like being in a healthy relationship, like our mics just died, so you're welcome. But we're talking about how like being in a healthy relationship has brought up so many emotions, and I'm really struggling with that, and how I really do feel like going into a bore. And I guess the solution would be is to kind of just let myself feel that. But then I don't know, that's how I kind of feel, is just I've had a spike in seeing myself and what I need to work on and where I struggle with, and it's been hard.
Yeah, well, it makes sense, because when you're in a healthy relationship for the first time, it really brings out those, I don't know, those feelings of everything you felt when you weren't in a healthy relationship.
Yeah, but that's where I kind of stand, is just feeling a lot lately, and it's making it harder for me to be vulnerable.
Because you struggle so much with opening up, my side of like how I feel about being with someone who struggles to open up and be vulnerable is, for me, because I'm like, yes, I want to be here for you, like, tell me what you need, what can I do for you, like, I'm here, I love you, I try to do everything I can. But because I'm just being completely shut down, my instinct is to kind of like push away. So I'm trying to work through not letting myself push you away during those times, because obviously during those times you would need me. So for me to run is like, does not make sense. But that's my instinct, so I'm working through trying not to, like, I'm trying to be okay with it.
A quick disclaimer: we are on a farm, so if you hear a rooster, perfect timing.
Yeah, there's about 6 of them.
Yeah, that is why we live on a farm now. But do you feel completely shut down? Is that how you feel?
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't realize that that's how you felt, completely shut down, when I am in that like less opening mind state.
Yeah, well,
mindset.
it is something I've been thinking about a lot lately, but we haven't actually we didn't do a check-in on Sunday.
Yeah,
which is like probably the first week we haven't done it.
Yeah.
So of course, now that we didn't do the check-in, I've actually, a lot of the check-ins I feel really good, but this check-in I definitely needed to bring some stuff up.
Yeah.
Just like nothing you don't know about.
Yeah.
So we should actually do that later today.
Yeah, we will do that.
If you're not doing a check-in with your partner, please think about it.
Here's the sign. We're really struggling on this double hammock, by the way, just so you know. We're trying to be vulnerable in this double hammock that's not made for 2 people, but they sold it as if it is made for
Also,
2 people.
Emma grew up with hammocks. I didn't, so I feel like it's very new. I'm still finding my groove and what I like with a hammock, how to sit in a hammock, whereas you're just, you're an experienced hammock owner. And I like it, but every time you move, it shifts my weight, and like, it's just,
You gotta readjust.
yeah. But maybe next week we'll have 2 hammocks. Who knows? We're not gonna have 2 hammocks.
No. My mum did offer us to buy a second one. But
it's right. We'll make it work. Relationships are all about compromise. No, they're not.
they're not all
They're
about
not.
it, yeah.
I don't know why I said that.
It's crazy how, because we have been in such a short relationship so far in this life, how I see myself is like hearing you say that you are totally shut down. Like, again, I wasn't aware of that. And it does make me just want to work a little bit harder so you don't have those emotions, or maybe try to talk to you more so you understand how I'm kind of feeling. But it is weird to hear because I know how I kind of was and how much more I was with pushing people away and really like, to you I feel like I just throw up a wall. I don't actually push. You know what I mean? Like prior I felt like I literally just pushed everyone away and I shot bullets. When it came to having to be vulnerable, my reaction was to shoot back because I really didn't want to be vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like that scared the hell out of me, so I hurt people. It's weird because you haven't obviously seen me like that and you haven't seen the improvements I've done so far in my life. You know what I mean? Like, so I guess it is a little weird to know that even just throwing up a wall can even still affect your loved one. You know what I mean? Because I haven't been in a relationship where I have been this vulnerable. Hi, Tucker, my dog Tucker.
Where has he been?
He's been in the dam and then rolling all in the sand. Tucker, Mum is not going to be happy. Say hi to the podcast. Bye, Tucker. We love you.
Well, that's why it's important to communicate and be vulnerable and talk about your feelings with your loved ones, because otherwise, I mean, if we didn't talk about that, what I'd keep feeling like you were pushing me away, and then I'd push you away, and then, usually I feel like in a lot of relationships, in my experience anyways, it gets to a point where you should have spoke about it a long time ago and you didn't when it was fresh, and now it's like this built up huge thing, and you just kind of low-key get resentment and angry and like all these negative feelings inside of you. So when you actually finally address it, it kind of blows up. And
yeah, I 100% agree. Every argument could have been sorted if you started talking about those feelings at the start. Like when those concerns did come in to your mind, when those red flags did start to show up. You know what I mean? Like if we just started talking about it, and which is why we have weekly check-ins. Again, we forgot to do our weekly check-in, which we will do.
Yeah. We were just sick and like sick.
Yeah, yeah.
Still sick.
It's so important to do that. I guess like and everything comes back to your childhood. I want to I'm not using my childhood as an excuse, because for anything in my life and who I am, I don't use that because it's now my responsibility. So I take on everything that happened in my childhood. That's my responsibility now to heal from and to become better from, and to use it in a positive way now. So I don't use it, but like because vulnerability, everything was like crying wasn't really a thing in my family. Emotions definitely weren't a thing you mean raw vulnerable emotions weren't a thing. Just anger and all the not so good emotions were seen. So I guess I never really was shown how to be vulnerable. So I feel like I'm just beginning to learn, and it's really scary. Like the actual feeling of vulnerability, like to feel yourself, like it's so scary and so like honestly gut wrenching it to a point when you haven't done it before.
Yeah, well, I feel like, to me anyways, my experience is when it's like the scariest thing ever, and you're barely even making out the words to say how you feel or what you want to get off your chest, or you're opening up to someone afterwards. If it's if you're in a safe space and that person has made you feel like your feelings are valid and they are trying to understand you, which is a huge important thing. It makes such a difference, because afterwards, like sometimes when I open up, I still feel afterwards like a bit of embarrassment or guilt or shame about feeling those things. But you just are there with such like a safe, I don't know, you make sure that I feel heard, and that no matter what I'm feeling, even if it's like, I don't know, something that I would call silly or stupid, which we're trying not to say.
We don't say that anymore because we always used to be like, this is so silly. How I'm feeling is so silly. It's like, we always remind that no emotion is silly to feel.
Yeah, exactly.
You mean like it's
a lot of our feelings are just like trauma responses. And
I did want to bring up like what you said about like, even though you create such a safe space for me and always providing, you know what I mean, like your help, and anything I need, you're there. But I find when I have been vulnerable, Brené Brown said something good about it, about saying like this feeling that you get, like this gross feeling after you've been vulnerable. Like you get a vulnerable hangover. I think she said something like that.
Wow, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and that's how I feel. And like as much of a safe space you can create, I actually just feel so gross.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant earlier when I said I feel shame and guilt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you used amazing words for it, because in a way it's not even I don't want to open up to you. It's I don't want to feel those things afterwards. Like I just don't like the hangover of being vulnerable. Like I hate that, and I guess I really am sticking to my comfort zone. And what it kind of feels like is I'm scared of water, right? And so to dive in, it feels like I keep running and I go to dive, but I stop and I just can't do it. I'm like, I know once you're in, right? And you're going to it's going to work out, and you're actually going to love it. And you're going to find that you find so much out of this. You know what I mean? You get so much out of this. You're going to enjoy it eventually. You know what I mean? It's going to benefit you, right? But I just keep running to the edge and I keep, nope. I know, go again. And this is as, like, in moments you need me to be vulnerable. In moments I should be opening up and talking to you. Like, I'm in my head, like, okay, jump. And then I'm like, no, wait, no, hang on, wait, no. And that's what's going on in my head, is like, I'm begging myself to jump and to talk to you and to do it because I want to open up to you, and I want this off my chest, you mean? And I want us to be in an open and communicative, like, you mean, relationship where we understand what's going on and we know what's going on, and I just want to be able to talk to someone about what's going on in my head. But I literally, like, it's like I run up and I cannot jump, and it's weird to be in. And then I end up getting angry because I want to talk to you, but I can't seem to jump off this ledge. And it's just so confusing in my head. Like, it is so, like, and then I just beat myself up. You know what I mean? And then even if I do jump off, even if it's just a little bit, and I go into, like, the shallow end of the pool, I end up just beating myself up on it afterwards anyway, with that hangover. You mean? I'm just like, and it's just like, I feel like sometimes I can't win, and I don't know how to, you mean, go about it, because I can talk about it now because I'm not in those emotions. I can say, yeah, next time I'm going to be vulnerable. Yeah, I'm going to open up to you. Yeah, I want to, blah, blah, blah. But then when I feel it, it's a whole different story, and it's a whole different Emma, like, you mean? And I can't promise those things because I just know myself that I'm going to be fighting in my head to jump off the ledge.
Yeah, I completely understand. And I like that you put it like that, because for me, metaphorically, I understand, because I'm not scared of water, but I'm scared of heights. So I know exactly how you feel when I'm right now. For some reason, I'm thinking, what's that place? Jamboree.
Yeah. You control the action.
But for me, and not just at Jamboree, but anywhere, like I will happily, like, slowly walk into water or run into water, but I will never jump off any kind of cliff or edge. Even if it's like a meter high, I hate jumping into the water, because for some reason that is terrifying for me. And yeah, I will be like, all right, I'm going to do this. I got this. And then I'll even do like a runner up. And then as soon as I get to the edge, I'm like, nope, let's turn around.
That's literally how I feel.
Yeah. So I like that. We love metaphors.
That's literally how I communicate to Alexus. Is I need to come up with something
that
she can visually see. Like, otherwise I can't really communicate. I've been like coming to the realization that I'm struggling to identify emotions. So I kind of like come up with a scenario that I can give to Alexus to kind of show you how I feel, because I don't really know how to differentiate my emotions.
Yeah. If anyone has any resources or help with that, because I don't know much about that, and I want to help you, but I can't, because
it's a weird thing to come to the realization. And I guess I'm struggling a little bit to even, you mean, like, because you like, how do you feel? And then my head goes, what am I feeling? Like,
but I think maybe you need to sit with yourself. But do you try that? Sit with yourself, and like, what about journaling? Like, trying to get to the bottom of what you're feeling. Like, okay, you know, is there sitting with yourself and be like, I don't know what I'm feeling, but like, I'm not feeling good. Okay, what's happened today? What's happened recently that's stressing me out? Oh, this has happened. Okay, do I feel a certain way about this? Yes, no, like, maybe something like that.
Yeah, it's a good idea, because every time I have journaled when I have been feeling intense emotion, I have come to the answer. But that's what it is, kind of like when I'm in those, like, I don't know how to identify. It's just all intense. That's what it is. It's just all so much, and I actually don't know which one it is. It's all just merged together, and I'm like, I don't know what it is.
The thing about you though, when you're and not in a good headspace is that you're not open to suggestions, and you're not
No.
you're not open to moving. You're not open to doing anything.
Yeah, I really
Because I actually
struggle.
suggest these things to you at the
Yes.
time.
That's what I'm really struggling with. Is I need therapy, by the way, just so everyone is aware. If you haven't picked up on it, I'm a whole different Emma in that headspace. Like, what I need to do, and I know I need to do, is I need to start working on it when I'm in a good headspace. So it's more comfortable when I'm not in a good headspace. That's what I need to do, and that's what we kind of when we're brainstorming this episode, and the topic of this episode is like, well, should we give suggestion of how to help to be vulnerable? And I said to Alexus, like, I don't have any tips because I'm struggling. I don't know how to be vulnerable. But we did come up with a really good thing that we wanted to do for intimacy and to be vulnerable in an intimate way is how it started. But we can definitely transfer into emotional too. Is that we wanted to do
Intimacy building.
intimacy building and like vulnerability building is that we do stuff when we are feeling good. So we're used to feeling those emotions. We're used to consciously and intentionally bringing up those emotions and feeling those. And so when those emotions do come up and when we are put in those situations, we already know how it feels and we know how to open up, and we know we're not as uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's not like such a scary place.
Yeah.
Because it's a familiar place.
Yeah, we've been there. We've been building and working on this.
Yeah. The thing though, and not just about being vulnerable, but about so many things, and on the subject of therapy as well, it reminds me of that, is that, something bad happens, or you have a breakdown, or you're in a really bad headspace, and you're like, fuck, like I need therapy, like I need help, I need this, that. But then you don't get that help at that time, and then you feel better, and then, you're walking through life, you feel good, but then you're like, oh, I don't, like, I forget about it in the time because I'm good, I don't need it, I don't need therapy. And then I crash again, and it's like, oh shit, I should have done that when I felt good, because I had the energy and I had the support when I felt good, but I didn't because I felt good, and now I'm back down here.
Yeah.
And it's just like a constant, like,
roller coaster.
yeah.
Yeah. Life is a motherfucking roller coaster. But those are, I guess, this episode is kind of really what's going on in our lives at the moment. Like, this is the topic that's in our life at the moment, is vulnerability. I'm struggling in our relationship with vulnerability. And you're struggling as a person who's dating someone who's struggling to be vulnerable.
Yes. So it's nice we've got both sides, because like I said earlier, I'm pretty good with vulnerability, and if I can talk about my feelings, I will. Sometimes it's hard, but there is a bit of a wall, but I can push through that. Sorry, you go.
I was just going to ask if that's how it always was for you. Like, growing up, like, what was it? I don't, like, yeah, I guess because I've always been like this, and to me, I'm, like, so open. You mean, like, you've kind of showed me that I'm not open, but to me, I was like, yeah, I'm vulnerable. I talk about my feelings, and then I saw myself next to you, I guess, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm not that open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
yeah,
because I am better than what I've seen and who I was, I thought I was like the most open book you could get.
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know, I'm just trying to think back, because I have said this in the previous episode, I was always in a relationship from like 14. So, and the dynamics of my relationships were very different. But I don't know, my last relationship definitely had the biggest impact on how I am in a relationship now. Because it was the most traumatic for me. But yeah, when I spoke about how I felt, it wasn't really in a safe space. We didn't talk about it, how we felt often. And when we did, it wasn't really like, I don't know, I didn't get anything that I needed, or nothing really went anywhere. And I feel like it was similar in my previous relationships as well. I can't remember when I was like before 14. I don't know what I was like, really. But for me, yeah, I don't know. And I actually said this the other day, but no matter how many times like I have been fucked over or my trust has been betrayed, which has been a lot by a lot of different people, I still remain faithful and I still remain open and I still remain like, I don't know, kind of just like
willing.
Yeah.
Really.
So I don't know. I think for me, it's a blessing and a curse. A blessing because, you know, there are a lot of really good people out there who you can trust. And it pays off when you do, you know, put in, like, have faith for relationships or for people or whatever's going on in your life, because it will pay off sometimes. But then other times you just get burnt and it sucks. And it's kind of just like learning a lesson I've learned 1,000 times over. But I'm always open and I'm always faithful.
What I think is, if you haven't listened to the Brené Brown TED Talk about vulnerability,
she sent this to me early on.
Early days, really, in shame. It is one of the best TED Talks I've ever listened to. I fell in love with Brené Brown after this. We got her book. We're meant to be reading it together. We haven't just yet.
We actually started it, and then there was a chapter that came up that was just like a bit triggering. So then we put it down, but we do need to pick it back up because we were reading it together.
Yeah, but she's kind of she makes a point where I believe she does. I may be mistaken, but I believe this anyway, is that being vulnerable never comes out bad. Like, yeah, you may have hurt, but it shows either who like, if you want someone in your life, if you don't want someone in your life, like, you always benefit from being vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like, and it's the way you should. It's uncomfortable. It is scary, and sometimes it can hurt a little bit, but it is the best way to go through life, is to be vulnerable and to wear your heart on your sleeve. Like,
you can be smart about it. Like, what I've learned as well, even though I'm very trusting and open and vulnerable with a lot of people, and sometimes I do get carried away. I do forget that, you know, not everyone is the person I should be speaking to right now. But you do learn over time that, you know, you can be vulnerable and open and, yeah, wear your heart on your sleeve, and also be cautious about who you're speaking to or who you let in your life or who you give your energy to.
So she does make a point on this. So she calls them the wholehearted people, I believe, the wholehearted. I'm really bad at referencing and remembering, like, to the T. So just watch the video. It's honestly the best video ever. She calls
We will link it.
Yeah, we'll link it. The wholehearted people. So what they do, they are vulnerable, but the key thing that they have that other people don't have is boundaries. Boundaries is one of the most important things you can have, if not the most important thing you can have. You always have boundaries. So that's when that comes into, is that you have boundaries and you don't break those boundaries. But yeah,
I think, like I said before, blessing and a curse about how I am in my life. But one of my favorite things about myself is that I am so open and that I can communicate. Oh, there goes our paper. And that, you know, I have so much faith in the world, I guess, because the way that I see life and view the world and the universe is so beautiful.
I agree. It's one of my favorite. We were playing a game last night, not last night, a few nights ago.
We're Not Really Strangers?
Yeah.
Yeah, the couples edition.
And it says, like, list 3 of your favorite things about this person, I don't know. And mine was her open heart, which is, it's one of my, I think it's one of the most beautiful, how am I going to word this? One of the most, I don't know, how do you say beautifuliest?
The most beautiful?
The most beautiful thing to see. I'm like, why am I trying to create words?
Oh, we love that. Yeah, it is true. She did write that.
I said her open heart because she's so open and she's so trusting and she's just so amazing and it's so bizarre. It's so beautiful to watch and feel and receive. It's just so good.
Thank you. But yeah, so I think definitely if you can, like, work on your communication and being vulnerable, but also boundaries, because boundaries, like Em said, is one of the most important things you can do for yourself. And if you respect yourself, set some boundaries with yourself and other people.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely like a for me, setting boundaries is like a self-love thing. And also,
yeah.
setting boundaries, it's funny because subjects we talk about, I feel like we could talk about for days, boundaries being one. But for me, I learned that if you're setting boundaries for someone you love, so for example, like I have to set boundaries with my mother. Our relationship isn't the best, but if you, and that's just who comes to mind, but if you're
my phone just fell. Just so everyone on the audio version knows, we're a mess. We're a mess. I can actually not just get the shit out of my girlfriend.
yeah, she did.
Sorry, baby.
As I was saying, setting boundaries is like, sometimes when someone sets a boundary with you, it can make you feel like they don't love you, or they don't care about you, or they hate you, because that's how it would feel for me. But if you're setting a boundary with someone, it's because you care about them enough to want them in your life, but set a boundary.
I couldn't agree more. I would always sacrifice my boundaries growing up, but as I became older, I realized, like, I would end up those relationships, because those boundaries weren't set on either side. Those relationships would eventually fall apart because there was no boundaries. You know what I mean? And we would hurt one another, or we would push each other too far, or, you know, like along those lines. And setting those boundaries is me showing you that I love you so much and that I want this relationship to work. And also, it puts me in a better mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It puts me in a better situation where I love myself enough to put this boundary here. You know what I mean? Because I need to be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, set boundaries for yourself and your loved ones. Cause
do whatever the fuck you want to.
all that, yeah, exactly. Do whatever makes you happy,
No,
really.
set boundaries. Seriously, that shit is game changer.
Yeah, truly.
Anyway, I'm about to have a vulnerability hangover.
Yeah.
Wait until I post this shit. I'm gonna have a breakdown.
After the second episode, there was a lot of anxiety, but that's fine, because like that's what we're doing. That's what we're out here doing. We're literally out here having conversations about vulnerability and how we feel, and we're letting the world decide what they want to do with that information. If they want to listen, that's great, and hopefully someone gets something out of this. But right now, this was more of just a conversation about how we're feeling, where we're at. So if you've listened, thank you for listening to our journeys of life.
Thank you so much for listening to FTB, baby. Fuck the boxes. My brain is fucking fried. I'm sick as a dog. I'm swinging on a hammock, and I got my chick with me.
Your chick. Yeah, so
lay down. Let's lay down and say goodbye. Love you so much, Alexus.
I love you, Emma.
And we love you guys.
I hate that now. I know I said it first, but it's the worst. But yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, we hope whatever you're doing, you're having a fucking beautiful day.
And we're gonna bang on this hammock.
No, we're not, because we're right in her backyard. Everyone's
We've done it before.
We have.
We're gonna go. We're so sick. We love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in on Fuck the Boxes.
Okay, Emma's getting a bit like overstimulated now. So yeah, we're gonna go. Bye.